Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening, depending upon where you are. Thank you very much for joining us today for this important session on business intelligence tools using Microsoft Excel. Phenomenal response. We had about 750 members willing to join us and more. So unfortunately, we had to put a stop on how many members would be able to attend. Unfortunately, we didn't want to do that, but we have license requirements. And what we've decided, therefore, is that, of course, all these sessions are recorded. So the recording of this session will be available for anyone who wants to watch it on demand. Plus, we're going to do another session, another live session on the 19th, a repeat of this session. And we will be circulating an announcement. I request that those of you who have attended it live today, please do not join the session on 19th. Let those people who have not been allowed for this time, let them get the first right to join in the session. Thank you very much, and I expect cooperation on this. This webinar is a regional webinar, which means participants from around 10 countries have joined us today, and I welcome all of them. A very interesting topic, and ACC has just concluded its first quarterly theme of the power of digital, and a number of trainings in this respect have taken place. There was a training which is now going to be held in a few days' time by the ACCA centrally on Power BI, and what we've done is that we have once again tried to replicate that, and therefore Power BI is another subject that we'll be touching upon in the time to come, in probably the next week, or Iman, when is it?
Next week.
What exact date is it for Power BI?
9th August.
In any case, I mean, next week we are going to have a repeat of Excel BI, and then in the first week of August we're going to have a session on Power BI as well. So do look forward to those opportunities. Data is a gold mine, and this is a realization that has come off lately. And just plain simple data may not be as useful as the kind of inferences you can draw using that data. The role of accountants in this respect is vital, because the kind of conclusions, the kind of intelligence that a professional accountant can draw from the data available at hand is phenomenal. And therefore, increasingly going forward, employers are relying more on the conclusions, the analysis coming from huge amounts of, or heaps and heaps of data that the system or the business generates. Excel BI is just one tool, one application through which you can do it. There are many other, right? But the most commonly used currently is Microsoft Excel Business Intelligence Tools. So with that, I will hand over to our trainer, Khurram Khan, who will take us through the session for the next 3 hours. Keep the session very interactive. You can ask questions. The questions, those who are attending this session for the first time, there's a questions dialog box available to you in the Go to Webinar menu. You can simply type in your questions here, and my colleague Iman, who's sitting here through the session, will be going through each and every question, and we'll sort them out. We'll take out the duplicate questions, and that's how we're going to make sure that all the relevant questions are asked from the trainer. That was number one. Number two, you will only be able to hear the presenter. You will be able to see the presentation. You will be able to see the screen on which the trainer is going to run multiple tasks, but you will not be able to unmute your mic, which means since we have a number of members attending this webinar, we will not be able to unmute the participants. So the interaction between the participants and the moderator of the webinar is going to be through the questions dialog box. Like I said, the webinar is being recorded. The recording is going to be available for all the attendees who are attending it live as well. So if there is one concept that we like to brush up afterwards, we will share the link of this recorded webinar with you, and you will be able to go through any sort of content of this webinar as many times as you want. So that facility is going to be available. What we really want is that as a result of this webinar, tomorrow when you go back to your workplaces, you should be more equipped. You should have new skills available with you, and you should simply get down cracking on the data that's already sitting with you. So good luck with that. Participation certificates of this webinar, hopefully on Monday, we will be able to email those out to all of you. All of you who attend the webinar for more than 30 minutes will be able to receive those certificates. So do look out for those. All the webinar resources, the content that will be generated through this webinar will also be placed on the Google Docs. And the link will be shared with you, and therefore you can access the information that is going to be shared with you today. Thank you very much for that. Do keep your feedback flowing. Do let us know if you've enjoyed the webinar. There's a lot of effort that goes into organizing the webinar. Our trainer has been working the whole night last night, working for putting all these things together, preparing the worksheets. Yeah, and similarly, Iman has been working very hard, making sure that the announcement is properly made, all the things are in place, everything goes clockwork. So we'll like to hear from you on how did you enjoy the webinar, whether it was a professional attempt or whether you want something to be improved in our webinars. Thank you very much. With that, I'll hand over to our trainer, Khurram Khan. He's a Microsoft Office expert, and he's done a number of trainings in the past. So over to Khurram. Thank you very much, Khurram. Come over.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, fine. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This webinar rather, is on Excel self-service Power BI. This webinar is for those people who have exposure of Excel and they want to learn something new of Excel. So,
yes, we will not be, sorry, interrupting. We will not be expecting a basic level Excel question in this session. Yes. We will be ignoring those questions.
So I will.
And the version also.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You have just heard about that Harun has pointed out that this webinar is on Excel Power BI and not for the Excel itself. So if you have any question on Excel, there are multiple webinars that we have conducted in Excel. You can go back and you can look into your question from there as well. So those webinars were very interactive. Most of the questions that I'm expecting about the Excel will be answered over there, right? Okay, this webinar will focus on the fundamentals of the self-service BI tools. We will discuss more on the Power BI, Power Pivot. We will focus a bit on the Power Query, and the Power View. These are the three main components of self-service BI that we will be discussing in this webinar. But before that, there are a few things that I need to clarify. That I'm using Excel 2016. Maybe some of you are using 2013 or maybe 2010. For 2010, Power Pivot will not be the part of the Excel. They need to download that add-in from the Microsoft website. And if you so this is the Microsoft website. and you can download from here. So this is Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel 2010 and Power Pivot. So you can download. These are the details. These are the system requirement install instructions. You need to download it first, and then you need to install it. And once it is installed, you can activate it. I will show you in a minute that how you can activate this add-in. And similarly for Power Query, you have to go to the Microsoft.com website and download the Power Query add-in from there. So these are not the part of Excel 2010. Power Pivot add-in is the part of Excel 2013. There is already add-in in the Excel. You just need to activate it. But since I'm using 2016, the Power Query is there, the Power Pivot is there, the Power View is there. Every add-in is required for this webinar is there. So let me show you that how you can activate this add-in. There is one more thing that I need to if you have 2013 or you have 2010 or 2016, whatever, if you look at the details of the product Microsoft, it should be the Microsoft Office Professional Plus. So everything that is Professional Plus, we are okay with this. So some of the versions of Excel, they don't allow that particular add-in. So anything that has to with something like Microsoft Office Professional or Professional Plus, then you are okay with it. So let me show you that how you can activate those add-in. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to go to the file, then you need to go to the options, and then Excel option dialog box pop up. Then you have add-ins. In the add-ins, you see at the bottom you have manage Excel add-ins. So in that area you need to click the down arrow button, then com add-ins, and then go. Once you should find this, we have the Microsoft Power View, we have the Microsoft Power Pivot, Power Map, right? So you just check it and click OK, and you should see the Power Pivot tabs should be activated. As far as the Power Query is concerned, in 2013 or 10, we have the Power Query add-in, but in 2016, the Microsoft has transformed this into and put it into a data tab with the name of Get and Transform. So this is the tab which has all the functionality of Power Query. So we have this is how you can use in 2016 with the name Get and Transform. 2013 and 2010, it is Power Query, and these are add-ins need to be installed and activated. Whereas in 2016, Power Query is in part of Excel 2016 with the name Get and Transform. So there is a difference in the name. So we will be using this stuff. Okay, fine. Very briefly, I will show you, or I will discuss what are the basic functionality or what are the various functions and features of all these three components that we will be discussing here. The Power Query is, or the Get and Transform, its focus is to get the data from the various sources, and when we get the data from different sources, there might be a possibility that we get the inconsistent data. there might be a problem with the formatting, there might be an issue with the data type, and there may be other issues as well. The main purpose, the main objective of get and transform or the Power Query is to get the data, clean the data, transform it, and convert it into a form with the help of which we can make better. The data is used for building the data models and for better analysis. So there should not be any consistency. So this data, this get and transform and Power Query is used for cleaning the data and transforming the data. Whereas the Power Pivot is the main pillar of the BI analysis. In the Power Pivot, we built a data model. What is a data model? I will let you know. I will discuss that in a bit. But we built a data model by getting, if we are sure that the data is consistent and everything is okay, then we can directly import that data into the data model with the help of the Power Pivot. But if the data need to be transformed, need to be cleaned, then we should use the data get and transform or the Power Query. In the Power Pivot, we can build the data, we can develop the measures, we can make calculations, and then we can use the pivot table functionality in order to put that data in various forms so that we can get the various insights. We can infer that what is hidden in the data. As Harun has pointed out, the data is the bloodline of any organization, and we have data everywhere, and we need to understand the data. But human mind is such that it is overwhelmed by lots of data. It cannot comprehend it. So by summarizing the data, by analyzing the data, by putting the data in different ways, we can get the various types of insight which are very important for decision making. So Power Pivot, we built a data model, then we produce, we generate, we calculate, we develop certain measures, and we will use those measures in various type of reports through a pivot table. And lastly, we have the Power View. We can present that data visually. So Power View is a visual tool with the help of which we can present the data visually through charts, through tables, through maps, right? So we will touch upon these, how to use the Power Pivot. The main focus of today's webinar is building the data model, how to develop certain measures so that we can use those measures in our analysis, and then we can use the a Power View to present the data visually. Okay, fine. So these are the basics of the three components that we will be using today. Let me first discuss the framework of the data model. ACC have uploaded 5 files, right? If you look at here in your handout section, we have 5 files. So in one of the file, which is named as the sample data for Excel basic concept, sample data for Excel BI basic concept. In this, you can download it and open it, and you will see there are different data set, a very small data set, right? So we have one data set, which is the code and which is the city. Then we have another, which is the code and the sales rep. Then we have the code and the product. So what basically we are trying to do is we have assigned a code to a certain value. So similarly for, these are the codes for sales rep, these are the code for product, these, and similarly, because the product has, table has different variations, we have the profit margin, we have the price, so these are different attributes of the product, so we have put them together and we have assigned the code. So from this code, I can get this data, I can get the profit margin, and I can get the price, right? So this is the three pieces of information. Similarly, we have on the next, we have another data set, which is the set of dates. It is starting from, say, 1st January 2014. And what actually we did we have taken certain time measures as well. So from this date, I can extract the year with the function year, right? Similarly, I can get the month number from this, right? I can get the January from this text function, right? Similarly, the week number. So if you look at here, so this is the function that I'm using. This is the weekday, and all these are based on these dates. So I can extract year, month, name, week number, even the day with the help of this data. And for the calculation of quarter, so I have used this simple formula based on certain if and and. So I have calculated that this day belongs to this quarter. So this is required for the time analysis, right? So this is another table. Now, this is what we call the fact table. So this is the fact table. What does fact table means? If you look at this data, we have the date, we have the city code, we have the sales rep, right? We have the product code, and we have the quantity. So this piece of information reflects that on certain date in this city, this particular salesperson have sold this product, and the quantity of that product is 4. So this is the numeric value, and these are the code, and these are the code. If you look at the city code, go to the city and you see this is 2. So 2 means Islamabad. So it means in the city of Islamabad, right, sales rep code is 3. So this is the sales rep code. 3 is Chaudhry Nisar, right? So Chaudhry Nisar has sold this much, which is the code is 2. The code is USB 4 GB. So this is what actually the meaning of this particular line. So we have taken aback, we have used the codes instead of the actual values, right? Now from this fact table or this data set, we will be making the analysis. We will be using this website along with all others so that these the analysis can be made. But the data model is the combination of all these files. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one. So what we will do that we will integrate, we will combine, we will put in all these tables at one place, and we will turn that combination of files as a data model. Once the data model is created, is a combination, then we need to connect it through relationships. So relationship concept we will be discussing after a few minutes, that what is a relationship. We need to connect all these 5 tables through a relationship, and through that relationship I can transform this data set, this table, into something like this. Okay, okay, something like this. Okay, something like this, right? So if you look at this, this is Islamabad, this is Chaudhry Nisar, this is USD, and this is. So once I have this data set, I can analyze this data. The good thing about this the data model concept is that the size of the file will be reduced manifold. You might have a question that if we can have the data like this, then why we need a data model? If you have the data set in that particular form, look at this, we have Islamabad everywhere, we have sales rep everywhere, etc., etc. Right? So this will enhances the size of the file. So to divide the file size into bits and pieces, right, make a smaller files and integrate those files through relationship will reduce the file size, and that is one of the pluses of this Power Pivot, right, of this data model. So what I will be doing, I will be taking all these files into a data model, integrate them through relationships, and then I will be developing this kind of a model. Okay, fine. Let me do one thing. Okay, this is actually, now look at this data set. Now what actually I did is I just inserted a column, right? City code and the city, code and the city, sales rep and the sales rep code and the sales rep. I've just inserted one column, right? So what I'm trying to explain here is that through the data model, what actually is happening, that using this code, we can extract the value of city right over here. So right now what I will be doing, I will be using a VLOOKUP function in order to extract the values of city based on this. Extracted the values of sales rep based on this. Similarly, the product code, a product name values from this. So that's what I'm doing with the VLOOKUP function. If I have to do this in Excel, but this will be done automatically in Power Pivot. So you don't need to use the VLOOKUP function. It is done automatically. This is only the conceptual explanation that how different tables, the different data set, different files, Excel files, all the different data sources has to be integrated. So they have to be integrated through certain codes. So these are the codes which I will be using. I am using the code from the city, from the sales rep file from this. So this is how I be using. But in order to make it more simpler, what I will be doing is I will be converting these into a table. When you convert these data set into a table, your life become very easy. So in order to do that, what you need to do is, first of all, we need to convert all these in tables so that we can move forward quite easily. We don't have to do anything else. So in order to do this, select any of the cell, press Ctrl T, make sure the create table dialog box pop up, and in that my table has header should be selected, click OK, and then name it as city TV. City is the name and TV for table. So city table is the name of this table. Similarly, go here, Control T, and my table as header is OK. Click OK, and then click here sales. Sale rep is the sales rep. TV is the name of the table. Similarly, here Control T, then OK, click OK. Then here we have the product TV, click OK, and then go back here. This is the table of what. Then make it as a date TV, and then the last one, Control T. Okay, Control T, okay, and then we have, this is what you may call it a fact table. So fact table means that this is actually is going on in the market, in the within the organization. These are the transactions which have been made, and these are facts. So that is why we have made it as a fact table. So this is the fact. So we have converted all our data set into tables. So this will simplify our process. So now what I will be doing is I am using the VLOOKUP just to ensure, just to show that how these different tables are connected through VLOOKUP, and the city code is the main thing, is equal to VLOOKUP. So this is the VLOOKUP. I'm finding this value from city tab. Then I have the city tab. Then we have the column 2, comma 0. So this is the, okay, I need to convert this as a table as well. So that, okay, fine, I can use this one. Similarly, I can is equal to VLOOKUP. This is the value. Then I have the sale rep table, sale rep TV table, comma 2, comma 0, and click right. So this is, these are the values, and this is the product name. VLOOKUP, and this is the code, and we have the product TV, product, this is the table, comma 2, comma 0, 2 is the column, and this is USB4. So you have just seen that using these codes, I can extract the values from city table. From this code table, I can extract these values, and similarly. So these are the main columns which are used for connecting different tables. So I will show you in a minute that how can do this. Okay, so now look at, there is only one difference in this table and in that table, that we have the city code, we have the code, this thing, this one, and this thing. So you can delete it and you will have this sort of a thing. So this is the basic conceptual framework that how different tables are connected with each other. So I've used the VLOOKUP function if I have to use the Excel only, but we will be using the Power Pivot add-in in order to do all this. But in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to put them all these files in a data model, and that data model has to be connected with each other. Okay, fine. So this is what it is. Now, before doing the Power Pivot thing, I will be using the Power Query, or in Excel 2016 get and transform. I will be doing the same thing, right? I will be doing the same thing, but I'm not using the VLOOKUP function. So what I will be doing, just to show you that how these can be done without the VLOOKUP. So I want to have this, right? So, but I don't want to use the VLOOKUP function, right? So this is how I can do that with the Power Query and the get and transform. So in order to do that, what you need to do is, for those 2010 and 2013, you should find, once you have installed the Power Query, and for those who are using 2016, they click data, and for them 2013 and 2010 guys, they use the Power Query tab, and they should get somewhere in the ribbon a new query. So click the new query. Then we have the from workbook, and we have the sample data for Excel. I want something from this. Okay, this is the base data. Okay, no, rather I should be using the other file. So for the time being, I'm minimizing it. The sample data. Okay, another sample data, city, sales rep, product, date TB, fact TB. This is the same. So open this file, sample data table, in separate sheet. So what you need to do is click the data tab, get new query from file, right? We have the sample data. Okay. Once you do that, you see that you have the city table, right? How many tables do you have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 data sets in separate sheets, as I've shown you earlier. So what you need to do is you need to load 2. Once you load 2, I'm not putting them in the table, rather I'm creating a connection. So only create a connection, right? Click load. And you have to repeat this process for every files that you want to put in that model. Now again, we have the sample. So we have the fact table. Okay, load 2, developing a connection, load. Then look at this workbook queries, they are coming in. Similarly, the third one. Then we have same thing. We have the product table, load to, we need to create a connection, load. Okay, one more to go. We have from file, from, we have this thing, and the sales rep. Okay, to, and this is creating a connection, load. Now we have 4 different queries. So the query means that we have extracted data from different file sources. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not using the date table because I have already the date values in here. So I don't need that because I'm connecting, by connecting all of these, I'm getting all the relevant information in the actual form that I've just shown you earlier. So once you have all the queries by getting the data from get and transform or the Power Query, once you have that, just click one of the query and you will have the query editor. So this is, look at this, this is the Power Query editor, right? For Power Query guys, 2013 and 2010, if they double click on the query, you should get all of this thing as well. So once you have all this query in place, right, what you need to do is click the Home tab. It is already clicked. Now you should find a combined group. And in the combined group, you should see the merge query and the append query. So the merge query and the append query, merge means that we are connecting, we are getting the values by merging. So this is again the replacement of the VLOOKUP function. So what you need to do is just click it, merge queries. Click merge queries and you will see you have the city and you have different set. So what you need to do is you need to fetch, right? Once you do that, you have the code city and the city code, you have the fact. Now what is the column that represent the city code? So this is the code, this is you need to select, and this is you need to select. So we have the city code from this table and we have the city code in the fact table. So join kind is left outer, all from first, matching from second. So whatever is matched, getting the data from this value, right? So we have 5 of 5 rows are matched. Click OK, and you should see this thing, and we need to open it up. So this is the fact table. So this, click it, and how many values, how many things that you need to have. You want to have apart from city code, you need date, you need sales rep code, you need product code, you need, and click OK. And you see what will happen. You will get the code, you get the city, you have fact table, this, right? So you have many things in place. Now, this is the city. Now, similarly, what you can do is you can use the fact table. You can get the values of the sales rep code, and you can get the values from the product code, right?
So can I interrupt you for a second? Some of them cannot find show queries in data tab.
Show queries in data tab. Okay. What I need to do, I need to cancel it first. I need to cancel it first.
You can take the question afterwards.
Okay, I will take the, okay. Fine, there is, it's okay. Okay. Let me discard. Okay, fine. Now look at here, we have in the get and transform, you have the show queries button over here. So this is the show queries button. So I don't have queries. I've already get the files in the form of the queries, right? You have the new queries, show queries. I have all this thing, right? So this is actually the thing. So this is the fact table, right? I think the question is answered.
Can you double check if it's from show query?
Okay. Okay, fine. I need to do it, redo this thing once again. So this is now the current table. This time is fact table. I need to merge queries as new this time. So what we'll be doing, these two files will be merged together, right? And it will be put into a separate new query. Then I need to have the city. So this and this, select all of these and then click OK. And once you do that, I need to get the values from the city. So I don't need that. I need only this thing. So I have all the values. You need to change it as a city, right? So that's actually the case.
Now, he's still going to find show queries. Could it be a different version that he's using?
Yes, might be. If he or she is not using the 2016, there might be a difference because in 2013 and 2010, it is being used as Power Query.
Then must be a professional version.
And I've actually discussed this as well, that what version that we need to have for this Power Pivot stuff.
He's using 2016 version.
It's a Power Plus, the Professional Plus.
Professional version.
Yes. Pro Plus.
Pro Plus, Professional
Yeah,
Pro Plus.
Professional Plus.
Then it should be in the get and transform group.
Yeah.
Okay, anyhow, let's do it. So we have the merge query, we have everything. Then now this time we will be using the product, and in the product, this is, I need to click OK. And now I have, I want to have everything. So apart from code, click OK. So I have the product margin, so I need to change it to product. So, and we have the profit margin, and we have the product price. Okay, so we have, things are coming now from this. I need to merge the query once again. Now this time, the last thing is sales rep. So this is the code and this is the code. Click OK. Now just open it. We have sales rep, click OK, and you see we have this, change it to sales rep. And you can delete all the codes of the product. Now in the home tab, somewhere remove columns. So now look at here, we have the date, we have the city, and we have everything. So we have just combined the values from different files, from the city, from the fact, from the product, and from the sales rep. So what actually I did was look at where is the sample. Okay. Now here I have used the VLOOKUP function. In this particular file, I have used the VLOOKUP function in order to get the similar type of data, right? So after that, what you can do is, once you have that, you can have the close and load to table. You want to load, okay, load somewhere here. Okay, now you have, look at here, you have all the data that is being connected here. So you have integrated, you have get the data sources from the city, the sales rep, the product, and what have combined the data in that particular form. So this is one use of the Power Query. There is another use of the Power Query, and that is in the first phase, I'm just using that how the Power Query can be used in order to get your data transformed for the analysis. So that is one. So I am clicking in. I don't need to save it. Okay. Another is another application or for the transformation of the data is that look at here, there is one file with the name FSD, and this data contains certain type of data set of the similar nature, and there is another file which is known as IST, and it is the data from Islamabad. So another important uses of the Power Query or getting transformed is that you can append the data from different sources. But there is only one requirement, and the requirement is that the file or the data or the table must have the similar structure. So that is one of the requirement of the appending feature. Look at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns in that table with similar name, date, month, and we have another 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the same name. So what we can do is we can take one data set from and then append it from the other one. Okay, what you need to do is just click the data, new query from workbook. Then I have FSD. So this is load, right? Okay, I need only a connection load. Then another query, and then we have IST. Okay, so load to, then we have only create connection load. Now I have two queries in place. So what I will be doing, select any of the query, and we have the data set. Now what you need to do is click the home tab, go to the combine group, and we have the append queries. So click append queries as new. Right, we have two tables right now. If we have multiple tables, more than two, you can select 3 or more. Since we have only 2 tables, so we select only 2 tables. The primary table is FSD table to append. On the primary table, we have already IST in the form of query. Click OK, and you see what will happen. The data set from the Islamabad is also appended at the end. So this is the second application of the get and transform or the Power Query. In the end, what you need to do is close and load to the table and click load. So you will get the data after. So you have the right. So now you have 44 rows. So this is the second application of the get and transform or the Power Query. There is another important application for getting transform is that is unpivoting the data. Okay, so unpivoting, I'm closing this file. I don't need to. Okay, so what I meant, so pivot to unpivot. So what actually we meant by unpivot. So I have this data set, right? And what actually I did was that I've created a pivot table from this data set. So okay, what actually I did is, so I've created one pivot table from this. So sometimes we have the data sources like this. So if you, I just copy and paste it. So we have sometimes we have a data source like this. So what we need to just delete grand total. We don't need that. Okay, so just assuming that we have the data and we want to transform it back to the form that is become more useful for data analysis. So we cannot make analysis on this sort of data or any. So although we have some sort of report, we can get some inference from this table. But if we have to make certain other analysis, so we cannot do that. So in order to do that, we need to unpivot this data. So what we need to do is we need to again go to the data tab or the Power Query and put them into a query from workbook. And this time pivot, unpivot, click that. So we have unpivot data. So this is the unpivot load to just create a connection, load. Okay. Now we have this data set again. Just see, this is a transformation from this data to that. What we need to do is go to the transform. So click the transform, and then somewhere here we should find the unpivot. Okay, in this any columns group, we have unpivot. Click, and we have the unpivot columns, unpivot other columns, and unpivot only the select. So for us, that is required. We want to have to unpivot this particular column. So based on this column, so we need to unpivot other columns. So click unpivot other columns, and you will see I have the data being unpivoted, and I can make some other analysis if I want to make. I cannot, if I click back, I cannot make any other analysis on this data set, right? But if I want to make, say, calculations such as percentages or maybe averages, right? So I cannot do that on this data set. So what I need to do is I need to unpivot other columns, and I have this data, and then again we have to close and load to, right? And okay, close and load to, okay, to the table load. Only create a connection now. Load, now.
Explain.
Hmm?
Explain what you've done.
Okay, what I have done. Okay, there is one thing that is, okay, for example, this is the city. I've done let me go back first. Okay, so I'm going back. First of all, this is the product, and ABC is the data type. This is the attribute, and this is what we have, what you call the city, and the value is what maybe the sales. So now I have to close and move first. Now load to table, new emotion. Now I have this data set. What actually I did is the data that I have in this particular form, I have changed it to this. Now I can apply the pivot table. I cannot apply the pivot table on this data source, right? But now I can do that. I can apply the pivot table, but the information or the analysis I can get is become useless. So in order to do this, we have to unpivot this data, and there are few things that we need to click. That there is another grand total. I should have done it in the get and transform. Okay, similarly, this is the project grand total, and if how many we have speakers grand total. Is there anything
grand total
and
LED
and LED grand total? Where is that?
Egypt.
Oh, okay. Here. And we have the city grand totals, the series of this. Now this is the data that we have, and from this data set I can apply the insert, the pivot table, and the new workbook. Now this is the data set I can play with using, for example, the product and the city, for example, and we have put these sales values. I can change it to, for example, value field settings, and I want to show values as, for example, the percent of column total. So this is actually what I meant. We cannot perform this sort of analysis on the unpivot data. So we need to we need to unpivot it first, and then we have to do this. So this is another important applications of the Power Query or the get and transform. So the primary objective of Power Query or get and transform, that we can import the data in the form of the queries, we can clean the data, we can transform the data into a form that we can use it for analysis, or we can use it in a data model. So this is what the get and transform or the Power Query is, about the Power Query. We can delete the unrequired columns. We can change the data types. We can transform the values. We can do a lot of things with the Power Query and the get and transform. This is just you give you the features and the functionality that the Power Query has. Now come to the Power Pivot, the core, the essence of the business intelligence. So first of all, what we will be doing, we will be building a data model, then we will create a relationship between the data models, the different sources of the data models, and then we will create certain measures so that we can use it for analysis. So I don't need to use this. Okay, so I am okay, fine. I need all of this. Okay, fine. Okay, before discussing the power pivot, there is one important thing that we need to discuss. For a data model and for the time series analysis, we need to have an important table which is known as either the date table or the calendar table. These tables are based on the date, right? That table consists of exactly the dates that occurs only once in the calendar. If you look at here in this particular table, we have 01, the 1st of January 2014. But in the fact table, we may have multiple values, the multiple instances of that value. So in the calendar table, we should have all the values of our time analysis for maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, starting from the first day till the last day. If our fiscal year started the 1st of January, then we start from there and we end up with, say, 31st December 2000 and maybe. So in that column, we should have all the values that must occur only once. And on the basis of that, we can extract year, we can extract month number, month name, and all other various things from here. In 2010, we have to extract year, month, and the other variables of the data in that table. But in 2013 and 2016, I'm not sure about 2013, maybe, yes. In 2016, there is no need to get these values. They have already fixed this issue. Then if we have the calendar table, we have only one column that is sufficient. All year, month, the week, all these will be calculated automatically. So there is no need to develop a calendar table. But for 2010 and for 2013, what is required? We need to have a calendar table. We need to have a date table with year, month number, week, quarter, etc., etc. So that I've already developed for those who are using 2010 or 2013. So there is no need to do that, right? So what I will be doing, I will be putting all these tables 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5. So these tables I will be putting in a data model, and then I will be converting. I will be developing a relationship and then getting the desired values from there. So in order to do that, we have to have the power pivot. So in order to have the power pivot, you have the add-ins. Once again, I'll be showing you how to do that. Options, file options, Excel option, add-ins, Excel add-ins, com, go, and then you should have the power pivot for Excel and Power View, and click OK. And once you do that, you should have the Power Pivot. Once you have it, just click it, and you can have the Power Pivot ribbon that comes in. So what you need to do, just select that add to data model. That is one way. The other way is if you click manage, right? If you click manage, then you have the Power Pivot interface coming in, and you have get external data. From this get external data, what you can do, you can get data from SQL Server, you can get data from Access, from analysis service, right? So you can from data, right? Then you have other sources, right? Microsoft, SQL, Azure, Microsoft Access, Oracle. There are many other links, types of data sources that you can have. You can have reports, Microsoft Analysis, Excel file, and the text file, right? So what you can do is you can have the Excel file next, right? So we have the path. Okay, so I haven't. So what is the desktop? Then we have somewhere ACC webinar, and look at here. I have this sample data. Use first row as column headers. Then test connection. Let's see, we have it succeeded, and then go to next. And we have the number of data sources. So one way of doing that, you can get the values, get the sources, get the files from get external data, or even then what you can do is you can select one table and then add to data model. So these are the two ways to do that, right? So let me using this city DB, then we have this. So I've selected all of these, click finish. Preview and filter if you want to get the preview and filter, right? So that seems to be okay. City code sales, cancel it. Product preview and filter, that is okay, seems to be okay. And similarly, now go to finish. Once, so it will be taking all these files into a data model. So we have 4,191 in the fact table, and we have 2,191 rows in the date table, and 5 rows each in the remaining table. So okay, so click close. Okay, it takes a bit of time. Now this is the Power Pivot interface, right? And we have just imported 5 tables: city, date, TP, fact, TP, product, and season. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to connect, we need to combine, develop a relationship. If we have a proper relationship with these 5 tables, then we can easily get the data, the required data from these 5 tables. I have already showed it through the VLOOKUP function, and I've already shown it through the merge Power Query and get and transform, that how we can do that. Now this is the third one, third way to, but it is more powerful. From here we can extend the data model. So this is the basic data model, right? We have the data sources, we have the 5 files, and we have putting all these files into a data model. Now this data model can be extended by creating certain more measures. I will show that after the break. But before that, we need to create a relationship. So how we can create a relationship? There are different ways, but the easiest way is, okay, but before creating a relationship, I want to show you that how your files look like in a data model. Now, in this view group of the home tab of Power Pivot, click the diagram view. We have the data view, we have the diagram view. Now click that. You will should have these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the files, right? And these are not connected with each other. So we need to first connect to each other in order to get the desired result. So in order to do that, what we can do is either we can, okay, first of all, let me do that another way. So go to the data view once again, then home tab, design tab, we have the create relationship. So create relationship. Now in the create a relationship, we have all the file listed in our data model. So we have maybe the fact table, right? So this is the fact table. And I want to relate it with the second table. And once I've selected one, then we have the remaining 4 over here. So I want to select the city, and look at here, I have the city and the city code, right? So these are the column names of the fact table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? These are the column names of city table, right? So what we need to do is we need to create a relationship between 2 columns of these 2 tables. So the table's value has to be identical. In the city table, we have seen that we have 5 rows, 1 column with the code, and other is the description of the code, that is city. So we have the city code, which have exactly the same values as of this. So we have the code, we have the city code, that both columns contain similar type of values, but one important difference, that in that table, the code will be there only once. We have only one instance of a code, but here we have multiple instances of a code. Maybe the code of Islamabad, maybe 100 times, but in that columns we have the existence of that value only once. So that is why it is, this sort of relationship is known as one to many. We have one and we have many instances. So one to many instances. Click OK. Now the relationship is created between the city and the fact table. So I want to create another relationship, right? I need to have the fact table. I've already created this one. I want to create the date table. Now in that date table, I just pointed out a few minutes ago that in table, the date must be occur only once, right? So these are the various column names of the date table, right? But the date occurs only once. But in that table, the date occurs maybe many a times. So this is date and this is date. We need to select, right? So this is the date and this is the date. The name of the headers may be different, right? But the contents or the values of this table has to be of the similar type. So one-to-many relationship, click OK. So this is the second relationship we have created. Let's do one more. This is the fact table. This is the fact table. Then we have, let's get the product one. This is the product code. This is the product code, right? So the name of these two columns are different, but the relationship of one-to-many. In this column, we have code occur only once, but here we have code occurs many a times. So we have click OK, right? So we have, let's go back to the design view, so diagram view. Now you have seen what we have done. We have fact table, we have the date table, right? Right, we have the date table, we have this table, and we have this table. They have all connected, right? So this is all connected. But this table is not connected, so it means we cannot get the desired value from this. So what I need to do is I need to create a relationship from this. So one way of doing this is that this is the sales rep code and this is the sales rep code. If I click, what I will get. So this is another way. This is the visual representation of visual way of creating the relationship. You can get the relationship, you can create the relationship from the design tab, you can manage the relationship from here, you can manage the relationship from here as well, you can create a relationship from here as you can delete it from here as well, right? So deleted, edited, mark as an inactive. Inactive means that there is a relationship, but you want to you don't want to use it, so convert it into an inactive. Or maybe at the later stages, if you want to get something out of it, you can make it active, right? So it's the thing. So this is the data model, right? So we have 5 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have created our relationship. Now we are in a position to get the data from these 5 tables simultaneously. Something from here, something from here, something from here, because all these are related to each other. So just give you an idea that what actually I meant. So go to the home tab, then pivot table, create a pivot table, right? So new worksheet, fine. Now look at here, we have this sort of thing, right? So okay, we have city, right? So these are the 5 different tables that we have, and let me check. Since we have table and the values, so we might okay, these are I guess the part of the table. Okay, so for example, I have the product from here, right? And I want to have the quantity from here. So these are the quantities that I've derived from one table, which is known as the fact table, and I get the information of the product from this table, which is known as the product table, right? Similarly, I can get the value from city, Okay, let VCT. So we have this sort of information, or we can change it to like this. So this is the Gojra and this is the product, and this is, now look at, we have 3 different values taken from 3 different tables. So this is the beauty of relationship. This is what data table is all about, right? Now, go back to the data table, data model or the Power Pivot. Okay, now go back to the data view. Okay, now the data that we have here is for fact table, right? Now I want to extend this model because I want to make some sort of analysis out of it. There is no information regarding the total sales. There is no information regarding the profit margin. There is something like this. So what we need to do is we need to extend this model by creating measures or maybe adding in extra columns from it. So what we can do this in variety of ways, in a different ways. So one way of getting it, for example, I want to get the price of that product, because these are the code, and the 4 represent what? 4 represent USB 16 GB, and the price is 800 rupees, right? So in the fact table, I want to get the price of the USB GB 8 whatever, right? So how can I do that? First of all, we need to say price, let it be price, right? So this is the price. Okay, so we have the price here. So what we need to do is what our objective is. Our objective is that I want to have the price of the product, but the price is present where? In the product table. So what I need to do is click the product, or just type related first. Related is the DAX function, and then we have the product and we have the price. So related product price. Now what does it mean? Since product is a table and fact table is related to the product with this code, so I want to get the information of the price from the product table based on this value. Since these are related, so I have to use this function related, and then I need to provide the name of the table and the column name, and then click OK. Once you do that, you should have the values of everything. So the product code is so far is all these are 4. It must have okay now. It's okay. So 4, 4, 4, 4. Now we have 100. We have 3 for 350. Let's verify it. So for code 1, which is USB, we have the price is this. For 2, we have 250. For 3, we have 500. And we have 4, 800. So it means the relationship is successful and we are getting the desired result, right? Similarly, you can add another column with the name sales, right? Enter, and what we can do is we can multiply is equal to fact table, and I want to have the quantity this fact TV, right? So I want to multiply this value since quantity is in fact table, so I have used the word fact. Make it as a habit that use the table name as well. So when you are in the table, sometimes we use only the column reference, but if you may use it in another column in another table, so we might get confused. So make it a habit that always use the table name along with the column name. So I want to multiply this with price, which is maybe let me write it related, and I have the product price, right, and that's it. I should get the value. So this is actually the case. Either I can use this thing or I can use this thing as well, sale, right, sale within fact table, just to give you an idea that both are equally okay. Okay, so equal to sign, I can use this is equal to fact quantity, then multiplied it with the fact and the price, the fact price. Now I've taken this by a related function, getting the value from this table to that table. Now it's become the part of this table, so I can multiply this thing directly. So this is, so we have the same values, so this is how it goes. So I guess it's a time for a break. Let's have a 10 to 15 minutes break. After the break, we will be discussing what are the measures that we can calculate. We will be using certain DAX functions, for example, month to date, Y to date, sales, same period last year, something like this, 10, 12 DAX functions, and then we can use it in our analysis. So let's have a break of about 10 to 15 minutes, see in about 15 minutes after the break. So Okay, we are back from the break. So if you have any query, please, any questions before. Yes, we have any questions?
Yes, sir. We have a question from Sadia. She asked that, is there a limit to the number of rows of data that will be picked up by Power Query? She recently tried uploading data in Power Query that exceeded 1,000 rows. Power Query failed to pick it up beyond 1,000 rows.
Okay, that is strange because I have loaded the data, right, with the fact table. So that fact table, right? So this is the fact table, and it has how many rows? It has more than 1,000 rows, rather more than 4,000 rows. So it had picked up. I don't know what actually is the problem with your Power Query, but as far as I know, you can have the data loaded into the query. It's thousands of rows, 30,000, 40,000. There is the limit as far as the capabilities of your computer is concerned. More RAM, you can load as much as you can, right? So I don't think that there is any issue with this. Any other question? Any other question? Iman, is there any other question?
No, sir.
The other one?
This one was.
Okay.
Also, people are asking how Excel 2013 be upgraded to have tools of Power Pivot.
Okay, very quickly, I will try to answer this question. I have already explained it earlier that in 2013, what you can do is, if there is no add-in available in 2013, or for sure 2010 don't have it, but if you don't have it, you can download it from the Microsoft website, right? It's free. Then you need to install it. Once it is installed, then you go to the add-in manager, for example, click the file, then the option, then the add-ins, then select from the COM add-ins, and you should have something like this. Once that add-ins is downloaded and installed, then you have this from here, and you just need to click it and then click OK, and the Power Pivot tab should be there as well. So it is same for the Power Query, it is same for the Power View, it is same for the Power Pivot for all version 2013 or 10. We don't have any capability in 2007. It's starting from 2010 onwards, right? So you need to download the add-in from the Microsoft, download it, install it, and this is how to activate it. So any other question?
Can you please show again how to add the data model? So if we do not have time, we will be sending them the recording. They can watch it over it.
Okay, just give them an idea. There are multiple ways that you can add files to the data model, right? Number one, you can, the Power Pivot ribbon, home tab, get external data, right? From the databases, you can get the sources from there. You can get the sources from here. You can get the sources from here, right? since I'm using the Excel source file, so click Excel, go next, and so on and so forth. Follow the instruction, you can get other data. You may have some sort of this table. If you have this table, right, Control Shift 8. So select this and just you can click the add to data model, right? So there are multiple, you can use the Power Query as well. Once you have the data transformed, and it allows you to insert that table into a data model. So that is how you can add your data tables to the data model, right? I think there is no further questions. A basic level question, I guess. Okay, fine. Now let's move to certain DAX functions. Okay, before the break, I'll just give you an idea that how this model can be extended. Once we have the price that we have taken from the product, we have the sales, we have multiplied the quantity of this column, of this table with this one. Now, let's directly develop certain measures. There are two common terms that we used in BI. One is the dimension and other is the measure. What is dimension? Dimension refers to the column headers and the values of the columns which have a corrected nature. For example, we have the city. So city is the dimension and the measure may be the sales with respect to that city. So measures always be calculated, whereas the result of this calculation is applied to the dimension. So we want to say that how much is the sales of a particular city. So means sales becomes the measure, whereas the city becomes the dimension. So these are the two things that we need to understand first from the outset. So what we will be doing now, we will be creating measures. So measures are the calculations, and we use calculations for our analysis. So let's do some simple measures first. For example, I want to get the sum of the sales. So very, very simple. This is again the Excel formula. So the good thing about DAX function is that majority of the functions that you may have used in Excel, these are the same syntax here as well. So I want to get the sales, the total of these sales. So what I need to do is first need to select this because I want the measures to be placed over here. So it's equal to, the total sums, yeah, or the total sales. So total sales colon equal to. So this is how we name the measures. Now, what should be the value of total sales? So that has to be calculated through a function. The function is sum, very simple, sum. What do you want to sum? I want to sum the sales. So this is in the fact table, and this is the sales. So sum is the function, fact is the table, and sales is the column. So I want to sum all the values of the sales column of the fact table, right? So I need to use the sum function like this. So the value, what the answer of this function will be represented through this Meyer name. So this is the Meyer name and this is the Meyer. So when I pick enter, I should have the total sales, right? So this become the total sales. I can use this Meyers in my pivot table. So I have created one pivot table already, I guess. Okay, this is the pivot table. So what I want to do is, so instead of quantity, I want to have, so remember one thing, in which table I have created this Meyers. I have created this Meyers in the fact table. So it has to be in the fact table. So go to the pivot table, right? This is the pivot table and we have the fact table here, and somewhere underneath we have this total sales. So it represents, this is the Meyer. So FX, this is the total sales. I can use this in my pivot table, just like the other columns values. So what I will be doing, let it be city. I want to get the total sales of each city. So I just need to click total sales. So this is the total sales each cities of each city. Okay, similarly, I can use this Meyers with other dimensions. I told you the difference between the Meyers and the dimension. In this case, this is the dimension. This is the Meyer. So Meyers can be applied to different dimensions. So similarly, what we can do, minimize this. Then we have the product. So you can do this, now get the product. So this is the Meyers that is applied to this dimension. Now let's do something different. Now go back to the Power Pivot model, the data model, create another Meyers. Now this time, let's do some time intelligence function. So the DAX function. Maybe before that, there is another function which is known as the calculate function. Calculate function is one of the functions which is used extensively in Excel self-service BI in order to create different types of Meyers. It is some sort, somehow similar to the sum ifs function in Excel. We don't have sum ifs function, but we can have the same result with the calculate functions. So calculate function is that what we want to calculate. For example, I want to calculate the sum of sales, maybe of a particular, say, a product, maybe the city, maybe the sales rep, or even maybe the product itself. So first of all, let me give you an idea that how calculate function works. So I want to say get the sum of all the product of USB. Let me see what we have. Okay, USB 1 GB. So I want to get the sum of this product, right, based on calculation. Okay, so I need to write the Meyers. The Meyer is sales of USB 1 GB. So this is that I want to get. So using the calculate function, is equal to colon equal to calculate. Now we have the expression. Expression is the calculation. So luckily we have already measures, which is the result of the expression. We can make use of it. We can have the fact, right? Fact is the table name, and sale is the measures, which is the result of the expression, and the expression is sale, the sum of sales, right? So we want to get the sale value of what? Of the USP product. So how we can do that? So based on this, we have the product. Product is equal to something so USB 1 GB. So I guess I can make it right. Okay. So it gives me an error somehow. Fact sale, fact TB sales, comma, where product is equal to product. Let me check it first. Product is USB 1 GB. So it does not recognized. Okay, we have sale of USB colon calculate. I want to get this, and the expression is the product is equal to this much. So it should be the case. Okay, let me rewrite this thing once again. So I want to have the product, and the product is this equal to, again the problem, USB 1, and I have GB. Okay. And no, I don't have. Maybe that is the reason. Okay, calculate fact sales, comma product looks the same way. Okay, I would look this thing a minute. Let me rewrite. Okay, I want to calculate, comma, then I have the product. This is the product. Okay, and the product is equal to, it should be working, 1, comma, GB. So this is yes. Okay, maybe there is a syntax. Maybe there is some sort of single value of column sales in a table fact. It cannot be determined this. Okay. So for the time being, I will use this grade from model. I will do that a bit later. Okay, so let it be some functions. Month to date, let me see, month to date sales is equal to, we have calculate functions, calculate. What we want to calculate? We want to calculate fact sales, comma. Then we have dates. Now look at, we have dates MTD functions, date MCD function. Then we have, and the requirement of this function is, this is called the month to date function, and it must get the value from the dates table, and this is dates table. And we have this. Okay, so that should be the case. That is one. Then we have another. What is going on? Okay, maybe let me develop another formula for the total sales. Okay, please be with me one sec. Sum of sales should not, sum of sales is equal to colon, I want to have sum x, I want to have fact table, fact TB sales, comma, fact TB. Then I want to have the quantity, fact quantity, then I multiply it by related, then product price, and that is, it should work. Okay, if this is working, okay, looks like working. Do I get the same value here as well? Okay, 19, fine. Let me say, let me delete this, delete from the model. Okay, MTD, I should sales is equal to calculate, I don't know what's going on. Expression is sum of sales, then the filter rates, dates, MTD, then dates TB, and that is, it should be the case once, and that's twice. Should it work? It should work. Okay, fine. Then we have, okay, I will explain you in a bit what actually I'm doing. Y to D sales. Let me write it first. Then equal to sign, calculate. Calculate expression is the sum of sales. Okay, then I have the dates, YTD, comma, the dates. Right. Come on. Dates. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So Y to D, year to date. So these are the two measures. Similarly, we have the third one, which is known as the quarter to date. So what actually means that it's some sort of a running total that we have, that what will be the year to date sales. We have this function, dates YTD, that we show you how we can do this. We have the pivot table. Now, let me delete this thing. We have the total sales. Now we have go to the date table. We have the date table here. We have the year. For example, I want to put this value in here. So 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we have the 6 years of data over here. So we have in the fact table, we have, now look at, these are the measures that we have just created. So YTD sales, if I click, so this will give me the year to date, what will be the total sale of 2014. Similarly, if I expand it further, so for example, let me go back to, for example, the date table. So this is only the date I'm getting here. And this is month to date. Okay. Now I have 2 measures. Now look at here. What actually is happening here? This is month to date sales. So in this particular day, we have this much of sales. Similarly, in the second day, we have this much of sales. And if you go along, whenever we have something like the month changes, it will start doing it again. So from the 1st of January, right, to the end of January, this is some sort of a running total, that each day, whatever the sales is being, we are having, it is added up. Similarly, we have for the Y to day. So look at here, it is still going on. Come on. Here it changes, right? But we have, since we don't have any operation here, but 3,750 is the amount which is carried forward. And similarly, this value is added and so on and so forth. And if we go down to the 31st December, 31st December 14, and you may see that, come on, okay, now look at here, this is 31st, this is the end of the fiscal year of 2014. When this thing ends, Y2D starts again. So this is Y2D A to date function and M to date function. So let me give you an explanation. What does it mean? Well, it means we want to create the sum of sales, dates Y2D. Dates Y2D means that A to date, apply this function to the value which is by year. So what actually is the year? So that is the way, that is why we have to have a calendar table or the date table. So it will take values from the date table, manipulated the sales value, right, and will be added together day by day, month by month, and year by year. So this is how it goes. So these are the three functions. Similarly, we can have the QTD function, quarter to date function, and it is same as MTD or YTD. The only difference is between year and the date. So if I say sales, I can use this. I want to calculate, I want to use the sum of sales. This is already an expression, right? And now we have QTD, dates QTD. So, and this wants the date TB dates, and this is how it goes. And this is. Similarly, we have another function which is known as the same period last year. So same period last year is the function that will calculate the value of today and goes back to the whatever is the value of the sum of sales last year. So we have the calculate function. We have the expression, the sum of sales, right? We have the function same period last year, same period last year, and we have the dates table, and we have something like this. So we want to calculate the sum of sales, but what sales? The same period last year. So if I want to know what is the date, what is the value of the sales last year, so this is the function that I want to have. So let me use these functions in my pivot table. So let pivot table is here is the pivot table. Okay, let me go back. These are the measures which comes automatically. Whatever measures that I will be creating, it will be comes here. So for example, I have the air, right? So this is the air value. Okay. So air. Okay. So this is the air. I want to get all the values from the fact table. For example, okay, let me have Y to D. So it will calculate the total sale of the year. Then we have the same period last year. So same period last year. What's going on? Okay. There is something wrong here. There is something wrong here. Okay, that is QTD. I want Y to D. Okay. Now, Y to D, since our value of, we don't have any values of 2013. So same period last year, we don't have any value being calculated. But this value is the value of 2014. Look at in 2015. In 2015, the same period last year, the values of this same period is this much. And similarly, if we go down, we have year to date value is this much, and what will be the same period last year value, which is this. And similarly, if we go to the y to this and go back to this value, now this is, now we need to make the quarter values again, right? So these are the various time measures function that we can have. Now we have some other functions. For example, I want to calculate the value of last year only, maybe the last quarter, maybe the last day. This is the function that is very, very useful, and these are very simple stuff that we have. For example, we have another function, for example, last year sale. So last year sale I want to calculate, or maybe let me last year sale. So I want to calculate the last year sales. This will be again calculate. I want to calculate the last year sales. So sales is the sum of sales here, sum of sales, right? Now the function is dates. Date add. So date add is the function which has three parameters. One is the dates, which we are getting it from the date table. So date table, the date. Then the second is the number of interval. The number of interval is that how much we want to go back. So -1 will take you the last year, and next means that what you want to have, the date add -1, and the last one is interval is year. So year, so year. So this means calculate sum of sales. This function will calculate the last year sales. -1 represent that go back to the last year and get the calculation of the sum of sales of the last year. If I click OK, I will get the value of the last year sale. So this is okay. So last year sales. Similarly, let me write few of the DEX function here. Now I want to have the last month sale. So last month sales will be using the calculate function. Then we have the sum of sale, right? Sum of sales. Then we have again the date add function. We have the date add function. It requires the date from the date table. Then want to have the interval. Then I want to have the month. So month, month. So this will give me the month, and close the parenthesis, and this function will calculate the value of the last month. So whatever that comes out here is the value of last year. Similarly, let me write two more. One is the last quarter sale. So again, this will be calculate. We want to calculate sum of sale. Then we want to have the dates add. Once again function, we have the date add. Then we have the dates db. Then -1, comma. Then we have the interval is quarter. So this is the quarter. So this is the quarter, -1 means what is the last quarter, and calculate the sale of the last quarter. So click. So even we can calculate, last day sale. Yeah, or we can say the yesterday sale. So this is calculate once again sum of sales, right? Sum of sales. Then we have the date add function once again. Dates add functions once again. Then we have the dates values. Then we have -1, and here we have the date, right? So we can have the day, we can have the quarter, we can have the month, and we can have the year. So date add function is the important function that will take you to the last year, last month, last year, last quarter. Even then, for example, you want to have the last second day sales, then last 2 day sales. So I'm just writing the last one, last 2 day sale. So this will be calculate sum of sale, right? Sum of sales. Then use the date add function. Date add function. Again, take the dates from the date table. Then how many interval that you want to go back? It is 2 day back. So -2, and then we have the date, right? So this function, the parameter value, the -2, we want to go 2 day back. If this is the month, this would have been 2 months back. If this is the year, then 2 years back. So this is a very important function that you should be using. Now let's go back to the pivot table and utilize all of these values. So for example, I want to have the last year sale. So this is the last year sale. So the last year sale, so this is my year that I've created the last year sales. So I have this thing. I want to have the last 2 days sales. Maybe this is the yesterday sales. So this amount is the yesterday sales. And this is, oh, that's too much. Let me write the dates. Let me quarters. Okay, this is the quarter number. Now let's see what will the sum of sales first. Sum of sales, and we have the last quarter. Okay, the last quarter sales. The last quarter sale. Okay, so this is continuous. Okay. So if I get this value, I should have got this thing. And if I get quarters, this is quarter. Okay, this is something is going on. Okay. Okay, these are few of the functions. There are a few other measures. Let me go through these. Okay, I will be using it somewhere else. Okay, fine. Few other functions, and then we will move forward to the power view. There are few functions, DAX functions such as previous year, previous month. Let's do that very quickly. Previous year, same. There is alternative to the datat function. We have calculate sum of sales. Remember, all time intelligence functions are used in conjunction with the calculate functions. So again, the sum of sales, previous. So we have previous day, previous month, previous quarter, previous year. So this is the previous year, and again, it will take the date. Value, and that should be it. So we have various type of time intelligence function. We have the mostly function that are used is the UTD function, MTD function, YTD function. I've just shown you that how these functions are being used. Similarly, there is another function which is known as the dateAdd function. So dateAdd functions, you can calculate the values of maybe the last year, maybe the two last year, with the quarter, with the day, even, right? And we have certain other measures that previous year, previous month, previous quarter, previous day. So these are the functions that you may use for your time intelligence analysis, right? Okay, now since we are left with 25 minutes, we need to do the power view as well. So the power view. Now, as I told you, that power view is the visualization tool. So, the Power Query is for data cleaning and data transformation. The Power Pivot is for building a data model and extending the data model for analysis, right? Because with the time constraint, we are unable to do some sort of analysis with this particular case, but we do have certain, maybe in the webinars to come, we can explain it a bit further. We have the Power View. So in order to use it with the Power View, we have to have the Power View in place. So we have the options. Go back to where you see we have the Power View add-in in place. So we have the Power View, Microsoft Power View for Excel in place. You can OK, but we don't have Power View tab comes automatically. In order to put that in the tabs, we can this sound is disturbing. Okay, in order to have the Power View tab, what we need to do is we need to customize the ribbon. So in order to customize the ribbon, there are two options. Either you can use the file, go to the options, and we have the customize ribbon. Right, in the customized ribbon, you can have all the commands. So all commands, then somewhere we have in all the commands Power View. So somewhere beneath we have this Power View. So we cannot add it over, and we have to create a new tab. Just add the new tab and rename it with some sort of okay. Display name is Power View. Power View, okay, and add it to that. Click OK, and we should have a new tab with Power View. So this Power View, if we click the Power View, okay, there is one problem with the Power View. There is one problem with the Power View, and there is one problem with the sound that we have. In order to use the Power View, we have the silver light should be installed. So we don't have silver light here. Do we have a silver light? Excuse me? We don't have silver light installed in this computer. Silver light is the software that need to be installed. Once it is installed, then we can use the Power View. We don't have any Power View, right? Since we don't have okay, this sound is very disturbing. Okay, I'm sorry about that. The sound that we are having. Okay, in the meantime, let's go back to the data model once again, and let's create no, it's okay. The sound is gone. Iman?
Yes, sir.
This sound is. Do we have any question on the session? Do we have any questions in the meantime?
Mohammed Fahim Islam has asked PowerPoint for Excel is not available in Office 365. How to update it?
Sorry, say it again. The Power
Pivot for Excel is not available in Office 365. How to update it?
It should be in my machine. It is in my machine. So you need to ask, you need to upgrade to the Microsoft Office. You can ask them. There is have a Office 365, and there is a Excel Power BI over there. It is in my machine. So any other question?
No.
Okay, fine. Is he coming, or I need to conclude this because we don't have any power view, and this sound is constantly pitching.
Yes. These are called, so we can conclude it.
Okay, it's almost the time now. Okay, fine. There are certain. Okay, anyhow, since you don't have any questions, what you can do is that if you have any question that you may ask, I'm sharing with you my email address, and from this email address you can write your question, and I will answer your questions over the email, right? So my email address is, let me write it over here. Um, so this is KHURRANBCS at gmail.com. So this is my email address. If you have any questions, right, you can ask your questions. You can send me your questions, and I will try to answer those questions promptly. Right? Thank you very much. I'm Khurram Khan, signing off from here. Thank you very much.